Hey you, what is up? How's it going? This is Kazi from cleverprogrammer.com, also known as Papa Python. In this video, I want to give you the 7 commandments of Python. So let's jump right into it. Commandment number 1, simple is better than complex. This is a commandment I stole from Python, and this is called the Zen of Python. And if you actually put something in your terminal, it'll just show it to you, okay? This is one of the things that Python is known for, and the people who made it, people who are much smarter than I am, they actually said that. So simple is better than complex. But what does that mean when you read that? What does it actually mean in your life, in your career as a developer? What is it, okay? But when I read it, I was just like, oh, it sounds cool, but that's all I understood from it. From more of a technical perspective, if we were to look at it like what it means in the coding world is, a lot of the times people will do things in a more complex way. They'll write functions or they'll write code that is complex. They'll write clever one-liners or two-liners and three-liners instead of writing code that is simple to read, that is almost like English, the variables that are clear and clean to understand, function names that are clean and easy to understand, and their code is written in a way where even if it didn't have any documentation, it would still be very easy to read. And this is very important because when people are trying to hire you, they want to see that you are doing stuff thinking of other people or even thinking about yourself. Because if you write code that looks like gibberish, you might understand it for a little bit, but you won't understand it 2 months from now. And other people looking at your code sure as hell will not understand it. So simple is better than complex is a very important rule to live by. Number 2 is focus on building projects. This is something I say in almost every fucking video. I know, I don't care. I'll keep saying it again and again till this point gets hammered home. Also, I just realized I'm wearing a Python shirt, so that's actually really cool. Okay, why do I keep saying this point? Why do I keep saying focus on building real world projects so much? I say this almost every video. This is one of the ways you're gonna get hired. This is one of the ways your skill is gonna improve the fastest. This is one of the ways you're gonna learn coding the fastest, on and on and on. But if you don't build actual projects, you don't build something practical, you're never gonna learn coding. You're always gonna feel like you have imposter syndrome. You're always gonna think you're not good enough, and you aren't going to get as many job opportunities as somebody else who is doing lots of practical projects might, all right? This is one of the reasons why I see people failing, quitting out of coding. A lot of the times all they want to do is follow tutorials, follow little programs that other people make, copy paste code. But when it comes to building something on your own, they don't take on something to do, a project that they want to work on. Your project doesn't have to be super complex, okay? You don't have to make the next machine learning algorithm that beats out Instagram and then now your new social media platform is the next Snapchat. You don't have to do that. You can do something really simple. You can make a very simple game, okay? Whether you want to make a blackjack game or tic-tac-toe or rock, paper, scissors game, or you want to make an IG clone or a Snapchat little fake clone or a portfolio website, whatever it may be, it could be some static, boring, easy website to make. Do something as you learn to code. That's the only way you're going to take all that knowledge that's in the tutorial that you see, you're going to bring it into real life where it gets internalized and it truly becomes yours, where you deeply understand it and nobody can take that away from you. And that'll show up when you're in an interview. It'll come through when people ask you those deep questions. You'll be able to answer them. Your GitHub will have giant, sexy projects on it, which will make you stand out. And more than anything, your skill level will be improved. And last point I want to add to that is work on longer projects. Instead of short, many projects like 10, 20, 30, work on 1 or 2 projects that you end up working on for days, weeks, months, maybe even years. Okay, that's going to be the really good place to be at. Commandment number 3. Learn negotiation skills and learn soft skills. Everybody wants to learn how to code. Everybody wants to become better at coding, which is really good, but what do you do it for ultimately? Yes, you do it for the satisfaction of problem solving. Yes, you do it for taking something out of your head and turning it into reality, but ultimately you are doing it to get paid. Ultimately, you are doing it to survive. Ultimately, you're also doing it so you can actually thrive and take care of not just yourself, but hopefully other people around you, your family. So you have many reasons why you're doing this, money being one of the most important. Yet, we never take lessons on learning how to do negotiations, and we never take the time to understand how pricing works, how to increase our pricing, how to increase our hourly rates, how to negotiate a higher salary, how long does it take, should you do counter offers or not, what the fuck are even counter offers? And it's a pretty sad thing to think about that people aren't thinking about this, because you're putting 40 hours a week, you're doing a full-time job, and you are most of the times being underpaid and overworked. And it's not fair to you, it's not fair to your family, it's not fair to anybody around you. I'll give you a little example. Let's say you're doing a job and you're making $10 an hour, okay? The results that you're gonna get out of that in 10 years versus if you were getting paid $20 an hour at the same job, okay? The results that would take you 10 years to get, you can get them in 5 years. Over the long term, you're essentially doubling the output of your life. Okay, so that's why I mentioned this. It's very, very important. It'll change the trajectory of your life. And that same like if you get a job at, let's say, $50,000 a year as a developer, I don't care, wherever, whatever state in America or wherever else, and you just try to get promoted through your skill from $50,000 a year to like 60 or 70, it's gonna take you 5 years to do that. Whereas if you learn how to negotiate and you become better and you understand where you can offer value, where these people need it, you can actually go from $50,000 to $70,000 a year actually a lot quicker, and probably even in that first interview where you're about to lock it down, okay? But you have to deal with the pressure. Most people are too fucking scared. They can't handle the pressure. The first job that they get, they want to jump on and get into it. They feel awkward, they feel sleazy and slimy. But honestly, if you get hired as a developer, other people, the people who hired you are making literally like 20, 30 times the money that you're making them. So don't be stupid, please. Do what's fair, because fair, right? On the other side, they will say, we want to give you fair pricing, but most of the times they're going to give you something a lot lower than what you could really be bringing them, right? So you want to make sure you have that margin in mind, and then that you negotiate accordingly. Point number 4, learn value-based pricing. Value-based pricing is an amazing skill set. There are many parts to it, okay? So for example, you could build a website for someone that has $0. They will haggle you a lot, okay? They will come for revisions, they will keep calling you, they will ask you for all kinds of fixes, they will not respect your time, nor will they respect you, and maybe pay you $300 for a 2-week long project. Or you can work with someone who's making $100,000 a month from their website. You could build him or her a new feature that can get them more customers, and then you could charge them $10,000 for a weekend long project, okay? So what does that mean? For example, if you work with somebody, let's say an up and coming hair salon, they have 0 reviews on Yelp, they don't make any money, they're broke. If you try to help them, which my friend Tenzin and I did, all right, many local clients like that, when we try to do that, they would just haggle us, and literally we would spend south of, probably 30, 40 hours working on a project for them. And then when we delivered it to them, they didn't even pay us $200. It was very depressing, but it taught us a very important lesson. It wasn't depressing because we just know you have to take L's before you can take W's, right? That was not a good feeling. But what we learned from it was, don't go to people who don't have the money, okay? Because the value I want to provide to them is going to be a lot for them, but I want to find people where I can get them a huge win and they can also pay me a fat paycheck, right? So it's a win on both sides. So for example, if you go to somebody who is killing it in their business, but they could use your help and maybe they need your help to integrate a new Django feature in their app. Django is a Python web framework, so you're using Python there. Maybe they need a web scraping thing that could ultimately bring them a lot of money, or simply put, they just need a better website, which will then get them a lot more customers. So if they're already making like $100,000 a month, with some of your tweaks, if they go up by $10,000 more a month, what that really means is that over the course of the year, you're making them extra $120,000 a year with the service that you provided. So if that's the value you're bringing them, you could have it in the proposal like, look, potentially the value I'm bringing you is gonna bring you $120,000 extra every year. That's huge. With that said, I can get this done. It's gonna be awesome, but I'm gonna charge you $15,000 for it. And for that same thing that took us 30, 40 hours, we could have done this person's project for 30 or 40 hours, and we would have walked away with a $10,000 check versus a $200 check. Point number 5. This is the controversial one. Quit college. One of the reasons why I mentioned quit college is most of the times you're gonna accumulate $60,000 of, I don't know, $20,000 of debt, $40,000, maybe $60,000 of debt with little practical or business skills, depending on what it is that you do. If you want to be a doctor, you have to get a degree. Very important, okay? Another reason I say this is most of the times when people accumulate debt, it takes them 5 to 10 years to actually pay it off. It takes them a really long time. Now, that's not very smart. It's not very good. So what I recommend is if you truly find a way where it's practical for you, then yes, use college, okay? I went to college for a long time and it was really valuable for me because it gave me lots of resources, but I never treated it like it was the only resource. I used college as it was one of the many resources. I never stopped learning on my own. So the problem that happens with most people is when they go, quit college, you mean stop educating yourself? What's wrong with you? That's not what I mean. What I mean is you never stop educating yourself. You're always educating yourself. It's just more specific to what you're doing. Instead of that somebody forcing you to go to a chemistry class or somebody forcing you to learn electronical engineering when really you want to be learning Python, data science, web development, machine learning, data mining, web scraping, or another language like JavaScript. Doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to do. Most of the times it's hard to learn those specific things. So I personally would rather look online, find classes and courses on my own. I leveraged Udacity, Coursera, edX, Team Treehouse, Codecademy. When I was learning all this stuff, I used every tool on the planet and made sure that they were vetted and that they were the best, because college is the biggest scam on this planet, right? Like for example, you are watching this video, you already know English, yet they have this degree called the English degree, right? People can get a degree in the language that you already know. Here's a piece of paper saying you know this language and I'm gonna charge you $60,000 for it. Okay, it literally doesn't make sense. Some other things that I think are kind of fucked up with it is how come teachers don't have ratings or reviews? And how come a teacher can be terrible but still be teaching that class and still have tenure? So there are a lot of like medieval things about colleges and the classical educational system, which I do not understand. But the reason why I want you to be careful with this advice is take it with a grain of salt. Most people will make a mistake of dropping out of college without having anything proven to themselves. So for example, in my personal life, when I dropped out of college, it was only after I already had clients with Python. I was already making more money hourly than my teacher was, and he was asking me for career advice. Students in the class were taking my free course that I'd put on YouTube to become a better developer. I had freelancers who were working for me and we were doing projects together. So I already was making close to a 6-figure income while I was in college, while I was building this YouTube channel. So I had lots of backup plans. And then I quit college to go all in to the Clever Programmer business, and as well as go harder on the freelancing business and the coaching that I was doing for coding. So what I want you to take away from this is, don't just go home and be like, yo guys, I'm dropping out. Think about it and have a plan and then go all in. And if you're not in college, just take this advice and apply it to your life. Maybe you're driving Uber right now. Maybe you are working as a nurse right now. Maybe you're doing something else and thinking of transitioning into programming. So realize how it applies to you, realize what needs to be done. As long as you have a plan in place and you've proven to yourself you're starting to earn an income from coding, then you can actually go all in. So that's very important. Point number 6, I'm gonna change it on the fly. On my Instagram post, it says stop being a little bitch, which I do agree with. It's a really important point. You should look at the Instagram post. I'll hopefully link it in this YouTube video. The reason why I say that is most people are just afraid of rejections. They're afraid to apply it to as many places as possible because they're gonna get rejected. They're afraid of applying for freelancing opportunities because they're afraid they're gonna get rejected. So they just keep preparing and preparing. They'll get a degree, then they'll get a master's degree, then they'll get a PhD degree, and they have never really applied or have gotten jobs or have started earning an income, and it's purely coming from a place of fear that they can get rejected, which is just an illusion because you didn't have that job in the first place, so you can't really get rejected, right? So it's just that point. But point number 6, what I actually want to make it in this video is, it's so freaking important to make your first $1,000 from programming. If there's one thing you can focus all your energy on doing, is start earning an income from it. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how you do it, but until you start earning an income from it, you will not be able to commit to it like all in. You'll not be able to go 100%. You won't be able to improve at the speed that you're supposed to improve at. You will not get the results you want. And sometimes you can get discouraged and quit programming altogether. But if you're getting paid to do it, not only are you having fun and it's awesome, but you're gonna be just learning so much faster because that's what you're being paid to do. All right, that's when I made my biggest revelations. And now you're taking code a lot more seriously and your projects a lot more seriously. There aren't just baby projects anymore. Now, number 7, what I'm gonna say is, give value. Okay, so what does that mean? Stop thinking about yourself. Look for problems in the world. And they don't have to be unique problems, just problems, but you need to go out there and solve them. Okay, so if you are looking to apply on Upwork and you see a bunch of Python projects that you can solve, look for the problems that need to be solved. Maybe a lot of people are needing help with web testing, Selenium. They're looking for help in somebody who can do web scraping for them. Maybe they need to make this little bot that can web scrape Craigslist and pull out stuff and then show it to you. Whatever it may be, actually look for the problems. Look for what people want solved, because that's what people will pay you for, right? People will pay you to solve their problems. So look them up, understand them at a deeper level, and once you discover certain problems, then you can actually go and learn them. So for example, instead of just learning about something totally random, wouldn't it be cool if you kept finding online on platforms like Upwork, people always kept saying they needed help in web scraping. So you keep going, man, I see web scraping a lot. I see lots of jobs for it. I see lots of job postings for it. Let me start learning it. And then you learn web scraping and you learned it enough in a month where you started applying to these jobs, and the same people that weren't hiring you are now hiring you, and you're doing this project for them. And who cares if they're paying you $50, $100? If this is one of your first projects, this is amazing. You know, this is the concept of not every dollar is equal. So you could make $50 doing Uber, or you could make $50 from coding, but which is more in line with your ultimate goal, okay? So that's what I mean by give value, find problems, and you'll be able to find exactly where you can give value, and then you can learn that thing, and that's gonna be your most practical way of learning and earning at the same time, okay? So those were my 7 commandments. Those were Papa Python commandments. I hope that they were valuable for you, and let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite one. I had a lot of fun making this video. It's actually 3 a.m. I'm dead tired, so that's why you feel my energy be a little bit different, but I wanted to make this video for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. With that said, I do want to let you know that I have a new program called Earn 1K with Python. And that program is coming out. If it's not out already, it's going to be in the description below. And the whole point of that program is to get you to earn your first $1,000 from coding and from Python, because I realize that's the ultimate secret to improving. Because if you start earning an income, you will take it more seriously. You will become better faster than ever. And it's like almost your nervous system now starts taking it seriously, okay? And it's fun. So with that said, I hope you go to that link, put in your email, all right? So just do that now. And as soon as this course is open, I will let you know, as well as I will send you a 3-part epic masterclass that's absolutely free. It's gonna blow your fucking mind. It's filled with value. And yep, that's it. So thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I love your face, and I'll see you in the next video.